Not a new flavor, but a new texture. Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. We're taking a look at a couple of new things from Pepsi today. We're going to start with Nitro Pepsi. Smooth, creamy, easy to drink. Pour hard and drink easy. It's basically, it says draft cola, natural flavor. So apparently it's a more natural flavored Pepsi from what I've been able to discern. But it's got a nitro charge in there. So instead of carbonating it with carbon dioxide, it's carbonated with nitrous oxide. I don't believe it's nitrous oxide. Anyway, nitro. Nitrogen. Just nitrogen, not nitrous oxide. My God, I'm an idiot. I know that. I know it's nitrogen. They've been doing beers on nitro for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen a cola done on a nitro. Now, what I'm a little curious about is whether or not they used a nitro widget. Normally with a canned beer that's nitrogen infused, you can feel like a little ping pong ball, or Guinness in their bottles does the rocket widget. It's basically a plastic device that holds the nitro charge and then releases it into the beverage when you open it. I don't feel that rolling around in here, but the can's also a little tighter than a nitro beer is. Probably because it's under more pressure. So, yeah, it doesn't say much about different flavor, just I assume the texture to be different. Chill it, pour it hard, admire and enjoy. Now see, the pour hard part, that's going to be the weird bit. Now, I still have trouble getting used to doing this with a beer, but you got to really dump it out there. Now, if you've ever dumped a can of soda aggressively, you'll know how badly that can go disastrously. And most beers, the same thing happens. But with a nitro beer, you're okay. So we're going to do what they say. There's that sound. That sound of a nitro being released that I'm used to from beers. All right, so far the hard pour is going well. I gotta stop it there. Okay, so it didn't foam up and go crazy on me. That's awesome. That looks a little lighter than regular Pepsi. It's got a distinct light brown color, but it's definitely lighter than regular Pepsi. It's usually darker. The head on it isn't quite as thick as I would have expected, although there are smaller bubbles, and you can see tons of those smaller bubbles forming down here on the glass. A few coming up from that nucleation point. I did go ahead and use the Sam Adams beer glass because it does have that nucleation point on the bottom of the glass that would encourage the bubbles to form and rise up. And that head is fading very quickly, but I can see that it does have a smoother, smaller bubble, creamier appearance than a regular Pepsi would. Smells like a regular Pepsi. Maybe a hint of bitterness that I'm not used to smelling from Pepsi. But oh, that's like silk. Holy crap, that is smooth. That is smooth and creamy. I mean, it's almost like milk. And I know you don't want to hear milk and soda in the same comparison, but it's got a slightly heavier mouthfeel than Pepsi does. And again, that could just be because of the texture difference versus any actual viscosity, or it could be a thicker and heavier base formula. It doesn't quite have the same bite as Pepsi does. It's got a sweeter flavor, and there's a slight hint of that. I think it's cola nut. I think I mentioned this on another previous, some other product that I did, but We have a soda here in Maine called most of New England, I think. And now it's starting to make its way into other parts of the country called Moxie, which is made with like a root or kola nut. And it's got an old-fashioned soda flavor. And Pepsi did 1912. They had some throwback soda, a couple of varieties of it that they did a few years back that had that was using the cola nut versus a root or anything else. And it's just got this classic cola flavor, and there's a slight hint of that in here. But for the most part, it's sweeter than regular Pepsi. Kind of reminds me of maybe that throwback Pepsi with the cola nut combined with the pure cane sugar. No, not pure cane sugar. The natural sugar Pepsi, where they're not using the high fructose corn syrup. So it's definitely a different flavor, and the texture just makes it really awesome. Carbonated water and high fructose corn syrup. So, caramel color, natural flavor, sodium polyphosphates to protect flavor, phosphoric acid, caffeine, sodium benzoate preserves freshness, potassium sorbate preserves freshness, tartaric acid, gum arabic, citric acid, salt, quilea extract, calcium disodium EDTA to protect flavor, nitrogen, bottled into the authority of PepsiCo. Okay. 77 milligrams of caffeine per 13.65 fluid. Oh, this is not a 12 or 16 ounce can, it's 13.65. You know what? I bet it's because of the volume of the nitro widget. And this does have a nitro widget, but it's one of those little cylindrical ones that's affixed to the bottom of the can like we saw in the Sam Adams Nitro Project beers and some others. It's good. It's different. Again, the texture is a bigger departure than anything in the flavor. The flavor is oddly familiar, yet it's definitely not regular Pepsi. There's a hint of bitterness in the finish now that I'm getting this far down into it. It's different. I mean, I'm liking it. I'm not over the moon thrilled with it. I'm not gonna sing its praises and go out and buy a ton of it just so that I still have it when it disappears, but I'm not gonna turn it down either. I did buy a 4-pack of this and a 4-pack of the other flavor. I'm going to do the other flavor next. And I'll at least finish those. I might buy a couple more. Again, it's different. It's not... I got nothing bad to say about it. It's just not... It's not doing it for me like regular Pepsi does. The different texture and the slightly different taste is not enough to really make me switch from Pepsi or to say that I like it more than Pepsi. But I don't dislike it. So, a lot of ambiguity there, I know. But that's pretty much all I've really got to say about it. I've described as much as I can, and yeah, you should try it for yourself. I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to have a bit of water in between here. And then we're gonna open up the next one. The other, I think it's the vanilla flavored. All right. So the next one up is the Nitro Pepsi. This is the vanilla draft cola. All the same information on the can. A lot of the same ingredients. I don't see anything necessarily different popping out here. Natural flavors. I was expecting something different in the ingredients just to account for the different flavor. Natural and artificial flavor. Okay. And I believe this one just said natural flavor. So there must be some artificial vanilla in here to give the vanilla flavor. Okay. So slightly different plan this time. We're using the Sam Adams Nitro Project glass. This one was specifically designed for nitro-infused beer. It does not have the nucleation point laser etched into the bottom of the glass, so it won't encourage the bubbles to form and float up. Maybe it'll help it retain that nitro flavor. I still love that sound. Maybe it'll help it to retain that nitro charge in the cola, just like it does with the beer. I have to cut it short because even though, oh, now that might be a good call with the glass. The Sam Adams glass with the laser etching might have been a case where the nucleation point was working against us, because that is retaining its head a lot better than the other one did. You can still see it. It's very characteristic of the look of the head on a soda, but it is definitely smoother and creamier looking with smaller bubbles in general. And it's taken longer to dissipate. There's also a lot more bubbles on the side of that glass than there usually are with a soda pour. This one actually is a little darker, I think, than the last one, but that could also be an effect of the glass being thicker and wider, so less light getting through. Similar aroma to the last one, although I'm getting just a hint of vanilla off of that. There it is, that silky, milky, creamy texture. That is... I mean, that's like the major selling point on this, is that different texture. The vanilla cola, not bad. It tastes very similar to the other one, but with a hint of vanilla in the finish. And again, it's different, it's good, but it's not gonna make me switch. I don't think I'm gonna miss them when they're gone. It'll be a nice novelty experience, and I'll have enjoyed it, but I don't know. I could be wrong, you know. A few months from now, if this is still on the shelves, I might be buying it regularly. Or if it's gone a year from now, I might not miss it. I don't know. Again, there's loads of ambiguity on these two products. But again, there's nothing bad about them. It's just different. I mean, sometimes you're just in the mood for a different texture. Don't get me wrong, I'm trying not to talk too much about beer here, but you know, sometimes you're just in the mood for a nitro beer because of the creamy texture, and even nothing against Guinness, but even just a basic stout like Guinness, which is again a really solid, good stout, but that's all it is. It's a basic stout. It's Guinness doesn't have a lot of coffee or chocolate or, you know, roasted malt flavor. Well, it's primarily just roasted malt. But anyway, there's not as much complexity in a nice glass of Guinness as there is in some other stouts from other companies that try to flavor them up and do something different. But it's just a nice solid stout with an amazing texture. Thanks to the nitrogen. And sometimes that's just what you're in the mood for. You just want that nitrogen-infused beer. Same thing here. I think sometimes you're just going to want a nitrogen-infused cola, and you're going to go for the Pepsi Nitro if they keep it around. But anyway, both very solid. I would recommend checking them out. It's worth the experience of the texture alone. Pardon. Even if the flavor isn't too much of a departure from some stuff that we're used to seeing. But that's just my opinion. Check them out for yourself. Hit me up down in the comments or the email link down there. Let me know what you have to say about either of these two colas. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I know, folks, most of you are waiting for me to pull out a bottle of booze, but these are just fine on their own, and I didn't want to mess up the texture or the pour by adding booze to them. So we're not doing that this time. Maybe the next soda. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.